High School, where Spring Lake Park is taking on Centennial, this North Metro TV matchup. I'm Blythe Whaley alongside John Haddon, and it's going to be a good day today. The sun is shining. We've had a few cold weather days here lately, but this evening looks like a perfect one for soccer. With this matchup, too, comes Centennial's first away game of the season. Getting to see what they're able to do on the road. They had their first win in the first game versus Andover, and they've lost the last two by just a single goal. So coming into this game, seeing if they're going to be able to get on the board. They had 4 goals in that season opener, but have been shut out here these last 2. On Spring Lake Park Panthers side, losing the first game to Champlain Park, getting the tie against Osseo, and lost against Rogers. So they're seeking their first win of the season. But being at home, they're hoping that is going to help them with the advantage to get their first win here tonight. But we're just about to be underway, and we are now. Spring Lake Park starting with this one. Looking to stay composed in these early moments is normally a challenge. Just trying to get your feet under you, get your bearings. But for Spring Lake Park, this being a home game, it should help them. Centennial here in the middle battling. But we're coming over here to the near side. This is number 10, Saltram, playing it back. We're seeing them using a lot of feet, which is good too. Finding their teammates, working it around. Something that Ryan Manning was telling me before this one was just how his team has really outplayed their opponents here in these first early games, but not been able to get the victory. So he's hoping his team is able to settle it down and find the back of the net. Only scoring 1 goal this season, that has been a difference maker here, finding that back of the net, getting goals on the board. So he's hoping his team can prove something different here tonight and open this up in the first half here early on.
And both these teams have had some struggles to start the season. Just one win for Centennial. They're coming off back-to-back losses. So I think if you're either team, you look on the schedule, you see what the opponent has done so far in this season, and you think this is a winnable game. So you'd like to see full effort from the start, hoping to take advantage of an opponent that you know can be beaten because they have been already this season.
Yeah, exactly. And we see this middle play action here. The ball has been in the middle for a good part of this first few minutes. As this one goes out of bounds, it'll come back to Spring Lake Park with the throw-in on the far side. Again, cutting through the middle. We're going to see Spring Lake Park maybe on their first attack here, making it a little bit further here in their attacking end. That was Batista losing this one out of bounds, but it'll stay Spring Lake Park's way. DeShaw throwing this one in. Centennial, some tough defense there, almost a double team, but this one rolls out. Spring Lake Park still with possession. Centennial not wanting that one to go their way, but Spring Lake Park ball back in action, and we're swinging. That's what teams need to do. They need to switch sides to be able to open up that attack. We see Spring Lake Park try to. But that foul called there, Centennial getting this one back in play quickly. Using their goalkeeper, that's huge too. Being able to open the field up, having that vision from that back. Verke throwing, or excuse me, sending this one in long. Centennial on their first attack here of the night. Getting this one almost into the box, but Spring Lake Park's defense shuts it down.
It was a really nice move upfield by Hassan to get things into a striking position, and then Mohammed tried to walk it in from there, kind of ran out of room. Or, excuse me, Myers tried to walk it in from there.
But that was something both of these coaches were talking to me about here before, is just the opportunities. When you do have an opportunity, we saw Centennial getting in the box area. You want them to be able to get a shot off, but of course you want them to finish it, but to at least put one on net and test that goalkeeper here early on. Their goalkeeper, Hassan, able to get the ball, kind of get his bearings back there in goal. Goalkeepers needing to touch the ball a little bit in the early minutes to stay engaged, and we see Spring Lake Park coming on the attack, the far flank, switching the field, but Centennial with some strong defense looks to gain possession back here in the middle of the field. They do. That was Jesus Galvan-Garcia keeping possession there, but this one will roll back. Verke coming out. That's a good goalkeeper, staying engaged enough to make sure he does get over there to be able to pick that one up and not have a one-on-one battle there in the corner of the field. Verke punting this one up. Spring Lake Park first too. Those 50-50 balls will be a difference maker here tonight. Spring Lake Park working this one around, wins the tackle up through the middle with force coming into the box. Centennial, strong tackle. Spring Lake Park still with it, sends this one in, off of the head of Centennial. Here back to Tolstrom. Tolstrom with time, plays this one to the middle. Centennial able to get a foot on that one. Yes, it goes out of bounds, but I think that overall helps them set up here for their defense as Spring Lake Park is still on the attack. Throwing from Deshaw. Spring Lake Park working this one around. Again, switching the fields is huge in soccer, opening up those gaps. We see Centennial's defense spread thin and Spring Lake Park able to work this one up. Centennial back in possession, working it on that far flank, sends this one long. Not able to find feet. Spring Lake Park got a step on it, but Centennial recovers there on the attack, coming through with the first shot, and it is over the crossbar. But you felt the build, you felt that attack here, that presence from Centennial here in these early moments, which we haven't seen too much of their attack so far.
Well, you called it out, the first shot. They had that other time the ball was brought up by Mears, but that one a clear shot from Centennial. Trying to create those opportunities with limited ball control, because really Spring Lake Park has had, kind of time of possession advantage thus far.
Definitely. We see this ball roll out. It's going to be a goal kick here for Hassan. Hassan finding the open man. Spring Lake Park with time, plays the goalkeeper back. Hassan with some pressure on him. They're working it through the back line there. Some risky plays, and Centennial comes up with it on the top of the 18-yard box. Spring Lake Park working that defense, able to gain possession back, playing it out wide, finding feet. They're doing a good job this game of finding each other, and the coaches were telling me before this game, it's just that it is tough coming through this COVID, all these protocols, keeping the distance from each other, trying to get back to what they know and how to play with each other has been a little tough. This one worked through the middle, coming back here on the right side. Centennial sending this one out of play, saving that time so their team is able to come back and help them defend here. Spring Lake Park with a throw-in on the near side. Again, those 50-50 balls, Spring Lake Park able to get control here as this one's thrown in. Verke didn't have to do anything, but he was there if he did.
He actually did more. He was trying to avoid touching that in the end, but was unable to do so. So, right idea, and when you're that close to the post, it's better to be safe than sorry. So, I got a little piece of it, and that sets up the corner.
Medic with the corner, first one of the day. This one goes wide.
Good lift on the ground by little soul trim that time.
Coach Otteson was telling me before the game that his team has, in a lot of these early ones, been able to control the game, but giving up just some of those opportunities that have led to goals. And so losing these last two just by one goal, he doesn't want his team to do the same tonight, so making sure that they play a full game and not giving up some of those moments right in front of goal. But corners, I would say, would be included in that. Corners often lead to goals in soccer. don't want to give up any of those, and
Yeah.
we see the first one.
Any set piece. And to lose games by only 1 goal when you don't come up with any scoring is frustrating. So they've been in these games. Their defense has played well for Centennial, and it hasn't been enough.
Strong shot here for Spring Lake Park, but Verke able to grab this one. It was right to Verke, but again, he had to be in that position, cutting off that angle. A tough spot to take a shot. Centennial coming the other way. They're on the attack. We're on the near side coming up. That's Elmer Pedraz chasing this one down out of bounds. It'll go back Spring Lake Park's way. But I would say so far what we've learned here in these early moments is that this game could really go either way. Who is going to open it up and have that first one on the board to lead to maybe some momentum? But both these teams having a tough job scoring in these last couple games. It looks like it could be a really close one till the end.
What we have seen is the teams getting more opportunities as the game goes on. So early you were talking about middle of the field play and how much we were seeing, and that can be typical in a game as two teams feel each other out. It really didn't take long for a couple of opportunities to develop on each side.
Yeah, I agree. Centennial here on the near side, working around, trying to find that cross, but Spring Lake Park defending well and keeping this one from going into the box. Spring Lake Park with possession. He's taken down. Referee lets him play on. He'll bring it back. I thought he might, but I was going to say.
He was a little slow to that whistle.
Yep.
He was going to make the call, but he wasn't in a rush to do it.
He knows who's in control. Bringing it back, Spring Lake Park with the early play here off the set. They're coming up on the far side. Love that ball, able to run onto it and send this one across. Verke able to get something on it, but not able to collect. Another opportunity. Spring Lake Park trying to get through, but it's pretty clogged up there in front of net as this one is sent back out. Spring Lake Park with possession, working there from that far outside. We're still about in the middle of the field after just being inside the box.
How good does this field look?
Yeah, this looks great. I feel like in general, like there hasn't been probably too much traction to rip it up, and obviously it's a turf, so they get that advantage too.
But you can see the upgrade that they've done around here, the new concession stand, the field, and I think that's even more reason for frustration maybe at our current situation, that it isn't being more utilized this fall.
Yeah, but as a player, when you do have a new stadium or new advances in your stadium, you kind of have that extra elevation to your game. You just feel good, you feel important, kind of like when you get new jerseys. Same sort of deal. Hassan will go out, but Deshaw here on the near side with the throw. He was looking to find Bedekit on that last one, but finds that support pass here with this one. Switching the field, Centennial in the right positioning there.
I mean, they've been really right side dominant to begin this game, and they've been more meticulous in bringing the ball up, right? When you think about Centennial's couple of chances that they've had, it's been on a rush opportunity. On the other side, it's very slow moving up the field, and then they establish position. It doesn't feel like anything explosive is going to happen, but if you get the right positioning, the right pass, just one play away from setting up a good chance at the goal. So it's interesting to watch the two different styles, even though neither one has been able to crack the scoreboard thus far.
Yeah, Coach Manning was telling me before the game that his guys may not be fast or big or strong, but they have really good ball skills, and we've seen them connecting so many passes here today and finding each other using that skill to be able to create these openings through the middle with time. Good job using his support pass there to open it up, finding that other side of the field. But taking on a Centennial player there, but it rolls out of bounds. We're going to stay Spring Lake Park's way. Through the middle of the field, Centennial, will they make it into their attack? Looking like they will. Will Myers sending this one to that far side of the field. spinning through the box. A shot, but denied by Spring Lake Park. Will Myers following it up into the box. Centennial still with possession with the cross. Spring Lake Park doing a good job to be able to handle that force that Centennial was trying to bring there, having a few opportunities in the box, but able to shut them down.
I think Spring Lake Park has also done a good job of playing the ball in the air. There's a significant height difference between these two teams, and Centennial has the advantage, but Spring Lake Park has gotten up time after time to challenge those balls and even control a fair amount of them.
Yeah, that's a good point to mention. I wonder if Coach Otteson will tell them at halftime that they should use that more as they continue on if their guys don't figure that out here in these early minutes.
Well, and the best place to use that is up in front of the net, right? Try and get that header shot in, but it just hasn't been there for them to set up in any kind of offensive continuous attack. And so you couple that with no set pieces thus far for Centennial, and they haven't been able to utilize that in the best way to this point, but they have tried to use it to control the ball.
Yeah, definitely, and I hope that they continue to do so, because when you think about what their advantage is, how can they use that even when they're trying to get it out of their defensive end? How can they play that lofted ball through the middle and have maybe a head tipping that forward to their forwards to run onto as we continue here in this first half? But both teams holding their own. We're still 0-0. We're at the 23-minute marker.
I was trying to take a look at the two benches as we have these substitutions coming in to see how deep each team is, and it's harder to count them than it used to be because they're so spread out.
Yeah. I know different coaches from teams this season have told me it's tough when wanted to hold off on that comment, making sure that this one wasn't going to be a quick opportunity here for Centennial. Spring Lake Park recovers just fine, but coaches have been telling me that it's tough to talk to your players when you sub them out. You want to have that one-on-one conversation quick about what you want them to change when they go back in, and not being able to be that close to them. It's been a lot different mentality of how you can talk to your players and get on the same page.
Well, sure, because there are things that you will say to an individual player that you don't want the other team or even your own team to hear. Words of encouragement, constructive criticism, whatever it might be. There might be a message that you think is right for that player, and it's up to the coach to know that. However, they really have to change their arsenal in terms of how to inspire, how to comfort in game situations at this point.
Yeah, that's a great point, John. We'll see how these teams continue to manage that as we go forward, but it's going to be a throw-in here for Spring Lake Park on the far side. We've seen some long throw-ins. Oh, excuse me, we're pulling it all the way back. We're going to have free kick here
Yeah,
for
that came
Centennial.
from the contact earlier on. They let them go for a second and then reset.
This one into the box, but off of Spring Lake Park, so Centennial will have their first corner kick opportunity of the night. John, you talked about how they can use their height to their advantage. A great opportunity to do so here.
Well, and they subbed off a couple of their taller players. Not all of them, certainly. They're still holding an advantage in that department. And then on top of that, I mean, they don't have everyone up at the front of the net. The Centennial loves to run some very interesting plays out of these situations. So let's see what they come up with this time.
Yeah, Will Myers not currently in. He got the header here early this season off of a corner.
A lot of movement. Nice read there by Mellum. He saw that all the way in, headed it out of the box. And there he is again, flying in, kicking that one away, forcing a throw in.
And that's oftentimes sometimes your best thing that you can do, just keeping your team able to be back and in position to take that attack. So getting the ball out, making Centennial have to work for it. Ball into the box, nobody touches it. This one goes out of bounds. Centennial will want this one back.
I thought that looked like it might have touched off of a Spring Lake Park player out of bounds, but looks like you saw it the way the ref saw it, and that was that nobody got a piece of it. So Spring Lake Park will get an opportunity to kick.
Yeah, those are the tough ones when they just go right through the box untouched. And I feel like for Centennial, just wanting to make sure you do have that garbage player, that player that's going to go long to catch anything that runs all the way through would have been helpful in that scenario.
Substitutions for the Panthers, number 7, Khalid Mohammed.
Spring Lake Park playing this one across their goal. You don't see that often.
Joy McMillan and Lil Mears.
Pretty dangerous play, but Spring Lake Park comes away with it on the far side, working through the middle. Again, finding feet, this Spring Lake Park team using their skill to their advantage, finding each other to move this ball. Onto the near side, Centennial just about to gain possession, but Spring Lake Park having 2 guys comes up with it, sending this one across the field. Centennial booting this one back towards the middle. Centennial on the attack, but Spring Lake Park in good positioning here. They come up with it. Will Myers in for Centennial, just about to make a play through the box, but Spring Lake Park able to get it back from him with a shot. But this one, not on net. Husan not having to do too much here in these early moments.
A little contact there. Again, Spring Lake Park trying to find some advantage on those balls in the air. And that time got a little too rough. But you think about that last Centennial attack, it mirrors what we've seen throughout, and that's not a lot of second opportunities because the rush comes, the shot misses, and then the ball's turned over to Spring Lake Park for the kick out of the goal. So Centennial, that can work, certainly, but they haven't been able to capitalize yet. And if you can get it more onto the goalkeeper, you can hope for some kind of bounce, ricochet. So more accurate attempts on these rushes would possibly pay dividends.
Cal Babish just threw it in from the other side of the field, and it's good to see him in the game. He unfortunately forgot his uniform here and had to wait for his dad to come bring it to him. Sure, he's glad that worked out to be able to step foot in the game.
So you can see Centennial there kind of climbing the back of Spring Lake Park because they've gotten a read on what the Panthers are trying to do. So the Cougars, instead of letting them meticulously move it up the field, are now charging in to try and disrupt those plays upfield. It worked here.
See this free kick coming from Centennial.
Second kick they've had from distance like this. Last one didn't amount to much.
Galvan-Garcia sending this one long, up and over everybody. This one will go out of bounds. Spring Lake Park will get this one back.
That's a tough play. I mean, it was what they drew up, but he's looking for one guy out there in the corner. Not a lot of room to work with, so if he doesn't get it with the header, it's going out of bounds, and that's exactly what happened.
Centennial working in this near side, but Spring Lake Park coming up with it.
And you see we're still seeing, instead of trying to launch it deep downfield when they've got a free kick opportunity, they try to move it up slowly, and we've seen this even on a goal kick earlier where it makes them susceptible to the speed of Centennial.
Yeah, you see them just trying to find feet, find those easy passes to work the ball upfield, not that long bomb where you see a lot of teams just trying to get that ball out of their end. Spring Lake Park taking their time, working this one up. They're on the attacking side now, but Centennial able to scoop this one. And with time, turn, switching the fields, back through the middle. Centennial trying to find feet and making sure they keep this one. Will Myers here on the near flank, looking to switch fields. He's able to. We're in the box. Centennial looking to turn, finding the man who's facing up, but this one will go wide.
Nice job to find the trailer and Joey McMillan that time. The senior comes in, didn't get the strike on the ball he wanted, but the opportunity that Centennial wanted was definitely there.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to find that player who's face up to net, being able to take a strong shot. And unfortunately, this one doesn't work out for Centennial, but the right idea, and so their next opportunity, they know exactly what they need to do. Spring Lake Park with the goal kick. Here is Hussein. Sending this one up, Muhammad looking to turn, but Centennial comes away with it. We're in the middle of the field looking to switch, finding that easy support pass. Jose Garcia sending this one up. We're in the far corner. Referee will call the foul. Will come back Spring Lake Park's way. Some tight action there on the far side. But that's what you want. I mean, when a game is 0-0, both of these coaches want their guys to be taking those opportunities, which sometimes lead to a foul. That aggressive play, Spring Lake Park with the kick, sending this one. They do go long. That's something that we haven't seen a whole lot this game. Centennial sending this one. That foot race to the end line there. But the ball rolls out of bounds. Spring Lake Park goal kick. Hussein playing kind of a risky pass here in front of net, but they come away with it. Spring Lake Park finding feet, working this one up. Gonna send this one over. But Will Myers with a great defensive step in there as he continues to try to work. Spring Lake Park finding Vu, but this one rolls behind him out of bounds. Centennial's ball.
Well, the new field caught up Spring Lake Park.
Yeah.
Vu thought he had more room to work with there on the red, but you got to watch out for that yellow line. So his teammates getting a laugh at him at this point, but it shows maybe how little these teams have practiced to this point in the year, practiced and played compared to previous years, and you throw in the new turf, and a mistake like that can happen.
Yeah, when there's so many lines on the field trying to get your bearings. Spring Lake Park sending this one long, but Jose Garcia able to make the turn, finding the support. Good defense. Starting from the forwards here of Spring Lake Park, Muhammad tracking this one down for his team. He's back in possession, sending this one. Vu trying to keep that one in play. It rolls out.
It was a nice two-man game between Muhammad and Vu moving up the field. Just ran out of room in the end.
Yeah, again, that sideline just tricking them up there. But Centennial working their way up the field. Garrett Myers
Watch the movement, Blue. Get there first.
will look to throw it in. Centennial switching the field on the far side. Jose Garcia sending this one long, looking to find through the back line, but Will Myers coming back in possession of it here for Centennial. Spring Lake Park trying to gain possession for themselves, but this back and forth action, Centennial still has it. But it will roll out of bounds. Spring Lake Park will get the goal kick. They'll go early. They see that space, their players open, trying to get that early short ball, like you said, that they like, John. We've seen that a lot today. Centennial working in the middle of the field, trying to continue to work it up. Will Myers getting some space by playing this one back. We'll see it worked around the back line. Good nutmeg there through Spring Lake Park's legs. Will Myers again, looking long, Spring Lake Park defensive line showing strong as they keep this one from going behind that back line. Some middle of the field action, another turnover. Centennial will get the call. They'll come up to take the free kick.
Just 10 minutes left here in this first half, still looking for a first goal from either side. We've talked about Centennial having some longer free kicks. This is a little bit closer.
But still going just out of bounds here, not getting that contact on goal like they would have hoped here in the first half. This goal kick coming from Spring Lake Park. They'll go long this time. Muhammad with that battle, but Centennial coming up with it, working their way. Will Myers with some strong defensive pressure, a double team there. Vu almost keeping that one going for Spring Lake Park. But this ball becoming 50-50 in the middle of the field. Teams trying to get a handle on it. Centennial, will they keep possession?
I know the tennis match has just wrapped up and the live channel has joined what was just a streaming broadcast. I want to thank everyone for staying with for more high school athletics on this Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, it's exciting to hear. Switch over to the soccer doubleheader. We're still sitting 0-0 in this soccer game. Spring Lake Park versus Centennial here at Spring Lake Park. With just about 8 minutes remaining in the first half, throw-in from the far side. Spring Lake Park coming away with it with room to roam. Sending it up, Muhammad has it. Double team there by Centennial. Vu gets a foot on it, but Centennial having the men back to play this to Verki. Spring Lake Park getting ahead on it, but Centennial having some room to keep this one in play. Some good defensive positioning here by Spring Lake Park. We've seen a lot of times that they will be in that run back for the ball, but they'll come away with it by being in good positioning. Centennial working this one to the far side, trying to create some space as they get into the box, but Spring Lake Park is not letting it be easy for them here today. Centennial will try to gain possession again, but referee will call the foul. Spring Lake Park coming up to take the free kick. Again, going early, that short ball that we've seen a lot tonight. Will Myers spinning with a little contact. Referee will make the call. They'll come up to take the kick here for Centennial. Jose Garcia will take it here for Centennial. Cougars wanting to take advantage here of this set piece. They play it long. Spring Lake Park in the right place at the right time, makes the header out of bounds. Centennial coming up to take the throw. Garrett Myers. Vu gets a piece of it. He's on the run. Jose Garcia grabs it back for Centennial, and they'll work it round. Back to Jose. Creating space, Centennial finding their players that have that room and nobody on them. Just like this one, Garrett Myers all alone here on the near side. He'll take it up the flank. Vu coming up to pressure, but a double team. Garrett gets it back for Centennial, and we'll switch fields. Almost a twin connection there to his brother, Will Myers. Centennial on the far side, working up that sideline, but Spring Lake Park making the play, getting it back, a throw in here. Centennial finding Garrett here on the near side. A good back and forth action. Garrett still with it, and his shot just wide. A great build-up by Centennial, getting another attack
Returning
here
for the
before the
Panthers,
first
number
half is
12,
over.
Derek
Just about
Hector.
5 minutes remain.
Come on, Blue, let's go now, Blue.
Goal kick here from Spring Lake Park. They don't get too much, but they get a lot of field positioning off of this ball going out of bounds. They'll get to come up. We're at the halfway. Looking to swing through the middle. Spring Lake Park on the turn. Finding space on the near side. They swing it around. Centennial in position, makes the slide tackle. They get it done. Spring Lake Park still in possession. Another tackle.
Use it, Blue, let's go now.
Some great defensive effort here from Centennial to keep this ball from getting shot here towards Verke.
Pressure that net.
I believe that was Tucker Walden on that far side with those slide tackles for the Cougars. Garrett Myers falling, but continuing to work against Muhammad there. Vu coming up, keeping this one for Spring Lake Park as they send it across.
Great hustle, Blue. Keep it up.
We see that tight battle, a couple guys falling down as that ball came across. Referee will make the call. Did he make that call inside the box? We will see.
Great work, Blue.
Is that what you're seeing, John? Is this going to be a PK opportunity here for Spring Lake Park?
The Centennial's certainly not happy about it, but yep, that's the call.
And especially when you're seeing both of these teams having trouble finding that back of the net, this could be a huge deal for this game to really see a team get a great advantage here from the PK line.
What do you think? I'm thinking he's going right.
Verke trying to hold his own, get his bearings on that line. Shot fire, Spring Lake Park on the board, 1-0 here before the first half expires. 3 minutes and 26 seconds for Centennial to come back to try to tie this one up before the first half. Soltrum credited with this goal from the PK line. And with his team only having that one goal on this season, this is huge for them as they continue to build.
Really well-placed kick that time. He did go right, and that's not why it was well-placed. It was where he went on the right? It was about middle,
Back in for the Cougars, number
close
9,
to the
Galvan-Garcia.
post. So that's not one that you can dive to the ground and hope to get. It's a real tough play for the goaltender to make, and it had some mustard on it too. So there wasn't any question about whether there'd be an opportunity to redirect the body of the goalkeeper for Centennial. Instead, Verke just had no chance once he had committed to one side or the other.
Yeah, you could tell Soltrum knew exactly what he was going to do as he stepped up to that ball, and he made it count.
First to it, Blue. Step in.
It looked like there was maybe a lack of commitment from the keeper, right? Because he had his right arm out to his right as if he was faking that way. And then he ended up in the middle in the end. So he didn't sell out to one side or the other. He thought it was coming more towards him. And especially at the high school level, you could expect that maybe more often because guys don't want to miss, right? So you think if you stay in the center, I got a better chance of making the play. But that was a real nice shot by Soltrum to make it happen.
Verke staying committed, getting the layout on this one and keep this ball from going behind his net yet again here before the half is out. That's something too. I mean, goalkeepers sometimes will hang their head after a PK happens and their team goes down, and it's huge for them to stay engaged, and a PK opportunity is such a huge advantage for the offense that you have to let it go. You can't really be thinking about it as the game goes forward.
2 minutes, Blue. Stay in this.
Will Myers in the middle of the field for Centennial, trying to bring this one down. He does, battling almost 3 guys on him, but Spring Lake Park taps this one out of bounds. Centennial will keep possession, I believe. No, they'll give it to Spring Lake Park. From my vantage point, it looked like it was Centennial's, but
Back in for the Panthers, number 19.
the Panthers will get the throw on the far side after the substitution.
Real limited time here for either team to try and make something happen. Panthers to extend a lead, or Centennial to close that gap before the half.
That's Muhammad here on the near side, trying to send this one across. They do fire over the crossbar.
1 minute
Bearkey not
remaining.
having to touch this one to make the stop. But you see the momentum here from Spring Lake Park after they just got to net that PK. They want another one here before the half is over.
Yeah, it was a good look for Hassan in the end. He wasn't able to keep it low enough to get it under the crossbar, but decent strike.
Saltram, our goal scorer of the evening, playing this one up. Some tight defense as Centennial looks to try to get the tying goal with only 26 seconds remaining here in the first half. This ball out of bounds. Centennial will get possession here, maybe for the end of the half. Garrett Myers.
10, 9,
Under 10
8,
seconds.
7, 6,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Saltram will have it for the only goal here in the first half. Panthers 1-0 over the Cougars as we head into halftime. But John, we saw a pretty even game here this first half.
Yeah, I mean, one break for Spring Lake Park is the difference. You know, a call that certainly Centennial didn't agree with, sets up the PK. Spring Lake Park takes advantage of that. Different styles, but a fairly evenly played first half. And while the Panthers are on top overall, the scoreboard does reflect a tight game.
And the difference maker could be Centennial already this season has had 4 goals. They've seen 4 balls hit the back of the net, where this Spring Lake Park team has only seen 1 in a game. And so what does that look like for them to hold their own and not allow Centennial to get on a run like they've been able to do here in that first game this season? But we'll let these teams prep and prepare for the second half, and we'll take a break as well and be back with you for some second half action. I'm Blythe Whaley, and John Haddon alongside me. We'll be back here in a minute.
I may never have met you. We don't go way back. Maybe we wouldn't even be friends if we did. But when you wear a mask, you have my respect. Because your mask doesn't protect you. It protects me. I wear my mask to protect you. Mask up, America.
And we are back here at Spring Lake Park High School for some second half action. This 1-0 game, Spring Lake Park got a PK here in this first half, has been the difference maker. We'll see if that holds true as we head into the second, but this close game that we've had here between the two of them, it certainly could.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like anyone is super in the driver's seat. Obviously, for two teams that have struggled to score goals this season, for Spring Lake Park to take a lead in that first half is huge for them. It might be enough, but we really don't. I wouldn't rest on my laurels if I was Spring Lake Park, because Centennial has challenged throughout. They've created a lot of rush opportunities, and they do have some advantages in this matchup over Spring Lake Park. So if you're the Panthers, you can't go to sleep at this point.
Yeah, so our lone goal scorer is Saltram, number 10 here for Spring Lake Park. We'll see who our next player that gets to head on up to the scoreboard. But that is exactly what Jeff Oateson told me before this one was just that his team has given up opportunities in some other games here early on. His team has been the better team in some of these really close games, but given up just 1 or 2 opportunities that the other team capitalized on. And so giving up a PK here in this game, I wouldn't say that Centennial has outplayed Spring Lake Park, so that doesn't hold true here tonight. But just the fact that they gave up an opportunity, giving a PK, and Spring Lake Park now leads this one 1-0.
Apparently we didn't have a good distribution of balls around the field. So, well, the lone, I think there's two ball boys. Well, one of them runs the ball to the other side of the field, and he just got there. Now we can get going here with the second half.
And we are underway. Centennial here leading the way. They look to play this one long. Spring Lake Park bringing it down with the header. Finding Centennial, though. Centennial looking to try to keep possession, but they don't. Spring Lake Park back line with it. Switching the field, a good long ball here as they work up this far flank. Finding that support pass again. Spring Lake Park has showed us that they know so well to find feet as they work their way up the field, making it look easy. Here on the near side was a Shacker taking this throw-in. Centennial defense gonna use Verke. Verke with the strong kick from that back. Sends this one up, and we're on the near side with this battle. Spring Lake Park finds the positioning, allowing this ball to roll out of bounds on its own will, and Spring Lake Park with the throw-in. Again, both these teams trying to find what's going to work for them here in this second half after having that regroup here with their team and their coaches. Verke with the punt. With time, that back line for Centennial looking to find. We've seen them play a lot more long balls here than Spring Lake Park, and they show to continue to do that here in the second half. Hussein able to keep this one out of his goal as they keep this one rolling. Will Myers sending it up, but Spring Lake Park with the takedown here. Little ways out, about 10 yards from the box. They'll get an opportunity. Now this is kind of one of those spots where will they put this one on net? I would assume, and they do so.
Yeah, everyone else was just window dressing there. That was a straight kick the entire way.
Hussein making sure he was ready for that one, and he was. Centennial finding space, plays this one back. Trying to open it up. I think there's a lot of bunching happening in the middle of the field. Spring Lake Park with that battle. It's Cal Babish trying to find an opening here on the near side. Centennial with it in the middle. Will Myers fighting. Coming away with it. Centennial working up through the middle. Garrett able to send that ball back. Again, when you see them switch sides, they're really opening up the field for that next runner. Spring Lake Park still in good positioning defensively. Comes up, makes the stop. That was Gage Peterson of Spring Lake Park able to get this one back in control for his team. Working their way around that back again, finding feet, finding each other. Not in any rush, and that is exactly how you should play. Up 1-0, making sure your passes count and you're not giving away a turnover. But Garrett Mears able to make the stop. Spring Lake Park again back in possession. We have our goal scorer, Saltram, playing this one up. But a strong battle there. This ball goes out of bounds, and Spring Lake Park will be in possession, taking this throw-in on the near side. Gage Peterson plays this one. Shacker is going to take the throw into Peterson. Peterson looks to swing. Going to find that opening all the way to the far side. Could have taken that space wanting up the flank there, but they look to switch back. Shacker. Some strong pressure here for Centennial. That's Cal Babish helping them get back into possession. Centennial on the top of the box, working their way into it. It's a shot, and it is above the crossbar. Centennial has had a few good shots, but just wide or over the crossbar. They haven't really been on net to make Husan have to really make a good stop.
That play by Pedraza was really nice because he was kind of alone against the defense that time and was still able to create a good shot. You know, he brings that down a little bit. It's a tough attempt for Hassan to try and make. So really strong play offensively and one of the better looks really that Centennial's had all day long.
Yeah, and that's certainly what Centennial needs to do in this second half. Sitting down by a goal, how can you show that the second half is going to look differently? By getting an early one on the board to tie this one up. Spring Lake Park on the far side. But Centennial in position to let this one roll out of bounds and get their throw in here. Garrett Mears. Garrett back with it. A good give and go. Garrett. Both teams trying to really get possession for a few passes there. It's back and forth. Centennial back with it. Looking to turn. Centennial able to find some space by switching the field. And that's what almost every coach in soccer will instruct you to do, is how can you work that one around, making those defenders, normally there's only a couple up top, and so trying to spread them out, create those openings. Will Mears. Believe this is Zach running up the near side. Tackled away, but Centennial able to gain possession back. Almost able to connect to Will as he threaded the needle, but unable to. Spring Lake Park back on the attack. But having to work to keep possession. Centennial having some strong pressure here on a few of these. And here is a run. Gonna be a track race here as Spring Lake Park looks to keep possession. They are just about inside the box with this cross. Again, no garbage runner there to be on the end of it as this ball sails out of bounds. And Berkey will be able to take the kick. He's gonna allow his defender though to take it for him.
That play looked most like a Centennial rush. You know, one opportunity. You talked about no one being on the other side. And closest guy to it was Medic, and he wasn't able to secure. So I wasn't sure necessarily if that cross from the right side was in fact a cross or if he was attempting to put that on net and challenge Verkey directly. But either way, it went over to Centennial for a brief moment after that.
Yeah, and even if you're taking a shot as a player, you're always hoping that someone is that backside to maybe save you if that does go a little bit too far out in front. And that's oftentimes where coaches will tell you to make the wide run. They'll want you to, instead of going straight lining it, creating that space for you to run back into the ball. Spring Lake Park looking to cross. Almost able to connect to Saltram. Will Mears and Cal Babish coming up to defend as Spring Lake Park looks to swing this one, finding the space on that far side, streaking up the sideline. But they work it around. They're up by one. They have some time, making sure that they have a good opportunity before making more risky plays. But some strong battles in the middle of the field as we see possession switching back and forth.
To me, it looks like Centennial is being a little less physical here in the second half. Obviously, in the first half, some physicality cost them a goal in the end. But they've got the bigger size. They looked like they were trying to take advantage of that with their length, with their height, and just being aggressive throughout. Here, it seems like they've calmed down, and I think part of that is, anytime, almost in any sport, when you've got a serious size advantage for one side over the other, it seems like the officials have an easier time calling penalties against the bigger side. So Spring Lake Park maybe has gone down a little easier. It's not part of their game to be as physical, and so Centennial doesn't want that sort of situation to cost them again here in the second half.
Unlucky play there for Joey McMillan, seeing him stepping on the ball there with having so much space in front of him. I'm sure it was disappointing to see that opportunity cease to exist, but Centennial gaining the possession back. We'll see Will looking to take the throw, but this substitution will come in first. Elmer Pedraz will come off, and Luke will step onto the field.
In for the Cougars, number 25, Luke Fenstermeyer.
Luke Fenstermeyer will take his place here on the field for Centennial. Switching the ball through the middle, but Spring Lake Park is there to not allow that to move too far. Verke with the ball all the way back here in his own box. Able to find space. But again, both of these teams are really having to work to have multiple passes strung together. Will Mears looking to thread this one up to his forward there. But Spring Lake Park in good positioning to not allow that to be a counterattack. And that says a lot about your back line, being able to have a ball played up like that, but being tight in good positioning to not allow the forward to break you apart and have that be a breakaway, of course, onto the goalkeeper. Centennial trying to keep this one in play. It will roll just too fast. Again, being a turf field, this ball runs very quickly as it goes towards that sideline. Will Mears on the top of the 18-yard box finds some space and a shot, but this one is lofted out of bounds. Nusan will put the ball down, and he will take the kick here for Spring Lake Park. Again, he has got lucky on a lot of these, not having to make a great save to keep some of these opportunities from Centennial out of his net.
Definitely a way to look at it. And the other way is the Centennial hasn't been terribly accurate with the opportunities they've gotten, and I think that goes back to the rush opportunities. You don't have time to set yourself in those situations. You're not necessarily receiving a perfect pass and in position to take a swat. We saw one really good shot, I think, for Centennial in the first half, and that was Joey McMillan who charged in on a ball, and that one went awry for him. But overall, Spring Lake Park has had more settled opportunities, and that's not even counting the PK.
This ball sent up, Verke able to come out. But he'll take his time, looking to find his teammates up here as they push up the field. Again, Spring Lake Park working this one around the back line, finding space. We're on the far side. Able to get by a couple Centennial players in the middle, but having to come back and swing this one through the other side. But Centennial on the attack with momentum, working their way up the field. Will Mears trying to track it down, but this one will run out of bounds. But something that Centennial needs to do in this scenario is how can you lock it in? You're so far deep into your attacking end, and you don't want this throw-in to be able to help Spring Lake Park getting far enough away, especially when we've been so back and forth. You don't know how long Spring Lake Park will have possession, so if you can keep them closer to their end, it's only going to help you maybe to have a quick one-touch shot. As we're nearing this 25 minutes left in this game and Centennial sitting down, there's got to be some urgency to try to get this one back, to tie this game up, knowing you still have to get a second to be able to win. And again, this being Centennial's first road game of the season. Long throw in, typical for Centennial, into the box, a header. And a shot goal, Centennial tying this game up. Like I said, there was definitely some urgency on that play as that long throw in gets lofted in. But an exciting now game as we're sitting tied up with under 25 to go.
Yeah, big play for Mears to come through with that one in the end. The ball's just bouncing around, and if it falls to you in the right place, you need to be ready to strike. Mears was. He one-touched it right into the back of the net from close range. Doesn't seem like a hard shot once it bounces that way, but you never know how it's going to bounce.
That's why a lot of coaches will say never let it bounce in the box. If a ball is bouncing in the box, normally it is going to be scored on you. You have to get that out of your space if you're Spring Lake Park. But Centennial capitalizing on that opportunity ties this game up.
Yeah, and Spring Lake Park did get ahead on it, but they didn't get enough strength behind it to knock it out significantly. So disappointing that they were in position to make a play, but unable to make a strong enough play to get themselves out of trouble. And for Centennial, I mean, what a relief to give up a PK like they did in the first half. They were frustrated by the call, but now, they've reset this game at one apiece.
And for Hussein back there in net, I almost wonder, his teammate made that header, but he was almost in position to maybe grab that. And so it's a tough call when your teammate unable to get enough on it to get it out of the box and cleared. But
I think if you're a goalkeeper, you don't wait on your teammates to make the play. You're the one who has the advantage in that space. Usually you'll see keepers be hyper aggressive in those situations and even knock their own players out of the way to try and secure a ball. So I can see why you think someone else might have the play, but a header is going to be hard to get real distance on. If a guy's got a foot on it, he can boot it away, but that ball really just fell right off of the header straight down into a shooting lane for the Centennial Cougars.
Yeah, Spring Lake Park gonna need to move quickly as they try to get the advantage back that they just lost as this game sits tied.
Nice punt.
Because again, Spring Lake Park working to try to get their first win of the season. They were just in position to do so, and now this game's sitting tied. They do have that one tie already to Osseo. Spring Lake Park on the far side, gonna throw this one in. Again, kind of that just back and forth action. Getting to see Spring Lake Park try to work it around, but Centennial just about tapping it away as they continue to work up the field. They'll look to swing. Shacker playing this one up, finding Muhammad.
Great
Shacker
throw.
throwing inside the box, able to get a head on it, but not strong enough. Verke able to come out and make the stop.
I think that's the header that Soltram wanted on that play. He had a teammate, Delgado Batista, racing in from the right side. He was looking to just set up his teammate, but good job by Verke to come out interrupt that play.
Spring Lake Park again with momentum, working their way up the field. Muhammad with it, looking to enter the box. He's stopped up. Centennial coming away with the possession here. But they'll give it right back to Spring Lake Park, out of bounds with the throw-in, the quick throw-in at that. Spring Lake Park in the box. Gonna be the battle to the end.
That's a corner. Really nice play there that time by Dishinger. The sophomore, physical, fast, aggressive, and his work throughout that play, right? He brought it up through the middle of the field early, and then he finishes up here to knock it out of bounds off of a Centennial player. Great effort.
Get to see an opportunity from the corner here for Spring Lake Park, and they haven't had too many of those this game.
Pretty low line drive kick, and we talked about the size advantage throughout, but it was really evident as you watch the players that were lined up ready to charge in for that ball on the corner, and there was maybe one guy with any significant height.
Saltram has it knocked away, but Spring Lake Park comes back with it. Saltram getting that one to lay too far in front of him, but they'll keep possession, throw it back in, will be Shaker. This ball will be ticked out of bounds. Centennial.
I don't think that ball even made it inbounds. The throw-in just went along the sideline and stayed out, so Centennial ball.
Zach will look to throw this one back in for the Cougars as they now seek the go-ahead goal. We're under 20 minutes too, so now exactly both of these teams have had a lot of minutes on their legs. How can they withstand and know that they still have to make a big play here to have a different result as this game expires?
Well, we've seen regular substitution throughout, so guys shouldn't be completely dead. Everyone's gotten a chance to step off the field.
Muhammad taking the shot, and it is high over the crossbar. Verke able to be there if he needed to. He stretched out for it, but this one sails over.
Yeah, Verke's not a short goalkeeper, so I'm kind of surprised by how many high shots we've had. We've had it on both sides, really. Teams are clearing the crossbar with regularity. Get that down, make the keeper actually make a play on the ball.
Cougars will get the throw in deep in their defensive end, looking to get this one out. This one will roll all the way up. Mears has this one go out of bounds, but still Cougars possession. He throws this one in early. Typically you're seeing him leave the ball for someone else to throw it in, but finding the advantage of getting it in quickly and maybe catching the Panthers off guard. Tough battle there on the far side. But Centennial trying to track this one down as they'll get the throw in to come back the other way. Centennial able to put this ball up. Mears was there, but just a little bit too far in front of him to really make a play on that ball. But if you just think if he was a couple steps ahead, that could have been a different result. Knowing who was tracking that ball down, Mears having some great success for his team. I remember talking to him last year after a few of his games. He had 11 assists on the regular season, and he was saying he was hoping that this year would be different, as in he would score more goals himself. He just had 3 goals in the regular season.
Nice cross into the middle. 2 guys there looking for it. Soltrum and Quiroz, neither one able to make a play.
Centennial doing a good job of getting this one out. Spring Lake Park with the advantage there, getting an opportunity. Just kind of wanting to give your defenders some time to set up and really be prepared for these Panthers as they come back.
For Centennial, number 36, Eli Lackey. And for the Panthers, number 4, Andrew Schmitz.
Maybe a last push. Probably not. I'm guessing we're seeing some of these substitutions come in for Spring Lake Park. They'll get 5 minutes or so, and then the starters will return to the field. Soltram, our goal scorer, just stepped out. Mellum, who's been big on the back row, taking a break. Medic, who's had some nice plays on this left wing here in the second half, all getting a chance to rest.
Shot for Spring Lake Park in the middle of the field. Berkey having to do something with that one, but that shot coming from Hassan.
And I think you said it right there, right? He had to do something. Instead of it getting kicked high or kicked wide, a shot towards the keeper to make him make a play. And while he made that play, Spring Lake Park forced him to do so and forced him to think about what might be coming around him, because there were charging players looking for a rebound opportunity.
And that's certainly what you need to do with this game being tied up. You need another one to get the W here. And the first one at that here for Spring Lake Park. You want to do it at home when you have the opportunity to be here on your home field. But this one worked around to the far side. And it will come right back here to the near side. Coming up, this one is Schmitz. They continue to play this one forward, but Centennial just about stopping that play up in its tracks. But when you think about it, Centennial and Spring Lake Park have a lot of times had just that tip that really doesn't allow that to continue on. Vu gonna track this one down inside the box. We were outside of it, but looking to make a play inside. Will Myers with just too much weight on that ball to almost play it to himself. Looking to run onto that one, but now we have possibly a give and go. Will Myers though. Will Myers with the shot, the diving, and another one netted here for Centennial. The go-ahead goal. We're sitting 2-0 Cougars on the board yet again here in this second half. After sitting down here to that PK for Spring Lake Park to now have 2 goals on the board, Spring Lake Park now is really going to have to do something here in these final 13 minutes.
Big play by Richie Williams. The junior comes on, makes that opportunity work for him. And for Centennial, this is a redemption feeling, right? You go back to that goal in the first half, and they never thought that that should have been allowed. And yet they're able to overcome and get 2 here in the second half to make things work.
Now it seems that Centennial, once they've opened up the floodgates, that they've been able to net some with that first game having 4 over Andover. We'll see if they're able to do so here tonight, because those last 2 where they just didn't score at all. And so sometimes teams, once they get that confidence and they have the ball rolling, they've seen it hit the back of the net, they can continue to do so. So maybe this game won't sit at 2-1. Centennial may hit another one here before the end of it.
Well, and the urgency is up for Spring Lake Park right now. We saw them early in the second half. They were good with a slower game. Then the game got tied. They saw them pick it up a little bit. I would think now the pressure's on them with under 13 minutes to go. So they will probably step up their aggressiveness. Well, that should lead to more opportunities for Spring Lake Park. It can also lead to opportunities the other way as they overcommit possibly on offense.
That's what I was just thinking too, of just what does that look like for the counterattack? Will Centennial get maybe an easy one as Spring Lake Park tries to force ahead and make something happen here in these late minutes, trying to get a goal to tie this one up? A lot different game here than last year when these 2 teams went head-to-head in the regular season. Centennial ended up winning by 5 to the Spring Lake Park team. And so seeing how close this game is, Centennial up 2-1 after trailing at half. Certainly seeing how this Spring Lake Park program has grown here in the last year. Mears in the box with a shot, and it hits off the post. Mears tracks this one down to keep it in play. Into the box, but not too much on that one. Hussein able to scoop it up for his Spring Lake Park team to continue fighting here in this one. Seeing a lot of contact as these teams get more and more aggressive as the minutes run down. Referee will make a call to try to calm this one down. On the far side, Spring Lake Park will take the kick. Ball sent up, but out of bounds. Centennial will take the throw in. Again, now they feel a little bit more relaxed sitting up by a goal, but knowing that at any moment Spring Lake Park has been able to come on the attack. And just even how this season has went, giving up some of those opportunities after dominating games. And so in a game like today where they haven't necessarily been dominating, hoping not to give up one of those opportunities, that leads to a goal here for Spring Lake Park. Long ball into the box, but hit out by Centennial. They'll continue to fight. Two guys, same team. Centennial able to get this one out of danger, and they're coming up the field.
Give it up to Williams, who just had that last goal.
Now you know Centennial has some guys who can really throw the ball in long inside the box. But it doesn't look like they're set up to do that. They're gonna throw it short.
Tapped out by Spring Lake Park, and if you're Centennial, you're fine with that. You've got the ball on the right end of the field. Just about 10 minutes left in this second half. So holding on to a lead for Centennial, they're not in any rush.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of teams when it starts to get down in minutes and they're up, how can they just use the possession to their advantage, continue to work that ball around? But knowing that these teams have had kind of a little bit of trouble with possession, having the ball go back and forth between each other a lot in this game.
Good header out by the defense of Spring Lake Park that time.
Centennial offsides in that attempt to feed the ball up to the forward, but it was a good look. If you would just have been back a couple steps to make that one continue on. Schmitz sends this one up to Dischinger. Muhammad looked like he knew he was offsides. If he would have tried to play that ball, he lets it go through. Verke with the ball again, trying to stall and take some time off the clock. We see Verke. Zach putting up a fight, gets it off of Spring Lake Park, so it'll stay Centennial's ball. And again, like you said, John, exactly what they want. They do want this clock to just continue running with them in the driver's seat.
Well, and the substitutions will help that a bit, but both teams making those changes, and we are seeing the starters return for Spring Lake Park. So they got about 7 minutes off, and there's 8.5 left in this match. So time for them to use those fresh legs, try and make something happen.
Yeah, it's a good amount of time left, just sitting down one goal to try to tie this one back up.
For the Panthers, number 5, Maid Medic, number 10, Tenzin Sultram, and number 12, Barakat Barakatov.
Zach Sampone puts this one in play finding Mears, but it goes off of his chest, and Spring Lake Park coming the other way. You see the urgency coming up to the line here to throw this one deep. Centennial tracks this one down, gonna use Verke, who's faced up to the field. He sends this one long. Spring Lake Park doing a good job of winning the 50-50 battle, being first too, and getting that one back in their possession. Schmitz with time, gonna take it up the near side. Unable to connect on that final play, but Spring Lake Park will get another chance. Schmitz winning the tackle. Centennial again having some time to kill as they look to wait to throw this one in. Another substitution here though for Spring Lake Park.
Panthers, number 6,
and like you said, another starter coming back into the game. Zach Sampone putting this one in play, throwing this up. But too much contact on that. Referee will make the call. 6:51 remaining. This one out of bounds, gonna come back Centennial's way. And again, sometimes you see that happen to teams when they're really trying to force something or make something happen. We saw Spring Lake Park play a lot on the ground and short passes to work the ball up the field and get some of those opportunities in this game. But right now, almost playing more of that long game, trying to get the ball up quicker, but resulting in some turnovers. Mears working his way up the middle of the field. Breaking some ankles as he takes the shot and almost on net.
Yeah, it's funny because it looks like the keeper missed the save, but that just meant he was at the right angle, because if that ball had been any closer to the post, he would have made contact with it. So really nice read there.
Yeah, and it looks like they're gonna call this one a corner kick. Centennial gonna have an opportunity.
So he must have gotten his fingertips on that, ever so slightly.
Yeah, it was tough to see from here. Good thing the referees have a closer angle on that. Mears not getting this one past that near post.
Yeah, you saw a much more aggressive Hussein that time, coming out and taking that ball out of the air to make sure nobody else had a chance at it.
Back in for the Cougars, number 17, Jesus Galvan-Garcia.
Centennial's first two, but Spring Lake Park able to come back with it as they go back and forth. Centennial with it now. Cal Balbish. And Verke sending the long bomb up the field. Unable to connect with his teammates, but again, knowing that it's gonna stall and still create the time difference by sending that one long and getting it far away from net is still gonna help his team.
A dangerous play there. One player went up with the boot. The other player tried to get low to head that. Nearly got kicked in the face by his own teammate.
No, those are probably the worst ones to watch. Glad nothing happened on that particular one.
We could see both teams starting to get ready for the second half of this doubleheader. Girls for Centennial and Spring Lake Park.
And that's what's always interesting in the doubleheader, not really being able to have maybe full warm-ups on the field. You're doing it kind of off the field. You see them practicing in just regular grass, which they're going to be on the turf, so still having to adjust. Almost another opportunity there for Centennial. Able to make the save here for Spring Lake Park. Hussein grabbing that one. But Centennial showing some great opportunities here as this game is about to expire. They've had a few good ones here in this second half after being down going into halftime. Berkey will come out, bring this one into the box so we can pick it up. And again, stall and use some of this clock. 3 minutes and 30 seconds roughly remain. And that's not a lot of time. We've definitely seen some goals happen in just a few seconds sometimes, but with how this game has gone, it's going to be tough here as we go under. Spring Lake Park, almost an opportunity. Berkey coming out, sliding and making the save. A good opportunity there for Spring Lake Park to bring this one up, but Berkey making sure that nothing happens and his team remains up 2-1. Garrett almost finding his way through. They'll bring that one back. They'll give him the call. Garrett Mears will look to take the free kick. Sends this one long all the way through everybody. Hussein coming up with it. And again, Spring Lake Park almost needs to go back to what was working for them. Being able to play those short balls and keep possession. How can they work their way up the field? Soltrum with the ball in the middle. They'll send it up. Berkey making sure he comes out on this opportunity coming through his box. Didn't really allow it to develop. He comes out and grabs this one early. Berkey long punt. And again, both teams knowing that this game is almost over. How can they give it everything they have with just 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in this game as the Cougars sit up 2-1. Spring Lake Park fighting to try to tie this one back up. Again, Spring Lake Park sitting at just 1 tie this season and 2 losses, wanting to make a difference happen here today. But now really just trying to fight for this tie here as time runs down. We're getting close to 1 minute.
Spring Lake Park frustrated with the time that Centennial's taking to go and get that ball. And again, not a lot for support in terms of running down balls on the sidelines here at Spring Lake Park High School. So they were able to fetch another ball, get it over there, but really it was more about the messaging that they'd like to see the opposition. They understand that they're going to drag it out a little bit, but they want the officials to step in if it's going to be too much.
1 minute remains.
Because there's no doubt that Spring Lake Park, if they were up at this point in the game, they'd be using some of the same tactics. We see it from every team. Bleed that clock as much as you can.
Yeah, and like you said, there's always that exception of like, how long are you going to drag that out? What does that look like? Are you doing kind of the normal amount, or is it seem extreme? .30 seconds remaining in this game, but Centennial back in the driver's seat to keep the lead, running up the far flank. Centennial has this one go off of them, it looks like. Nope, they'll get to keep it. And again, with only 10 seconds remaining, Centennial gonna throw this one in.
4,
3, 2, 1. And the Cougars get the victory on the road at 2-1. This game, after sitting down 1-0 at halftime, we get to see a fun couple goals from this Centennial Cougar squad after not having a goal in their last 2. But of course, Spring Lake Park pretty upset, I'm sure, a little bit disappointed in going up by 1, having that PK, that lucky break here for them early on in this game, but not able to hold it out. And something that I like to see, too, in this game, though, was just knowing that Spring Lake Park has that ball handling ability and what they can use that for as they move forward in this season. They obviously are just 3 games into it. What does that look like as they continue on? But, John, overall, I thought both these teams fought hard today, and it was a close battle, knowing last time they matched up it was 5-0.
Oh, it certainly was. And if you're Spring Lake Park, if you can get on the board, you're competitive, right? They've scored 2 goals this season. In one game, they ended in a tie. In this game, they lose by just 1. So they know that if they can keep it close and keep it low, they've got a chance. However, still looking for that first W for Centennial. You mentioned it, going on the road for the first time today, and they get their first victory on the road at the same time, moving their record to 500 with a 2-2 overall mark on the season. So really nice showing for Centennial to start our doubleheader.
Well, like we said, excited to have the ladies take the field here in just a little bit, but this game wraps out with Centennial Cougars on top of the Panthers. This has been Blythe Whaley alongside John Haddon, and we hope you stay tuned and join us here as the ladies will go on at 7.
You know that I got it, yeah. This game up in my body, bet that you can't stop it.